This is Kent Mulgat on KelownaNow, joined by Gail Temple from Westcorp. And congratulations, your signature building near the foot of Bernard, this 33-story hotel and condo project, got the approval.
It did. That was great.
It was quite a meeting.
It was quite a meeting. It went on all the way until midnight. It was standing room only.
Right. So this was a council faced with a decision where their own staff was recommending that they not approve it.
Yes.
That a building that tall was out of place, and then people got up and spoke. Is it the people speaking that sort of turned the tables in favor of this project, would you say?
You know, it's interesting. While we were, of course, wanting a positive recommendation, because we do really think that the building fits well and that it deserves to be an iconic landmark building on that site. What was interesting was, in some respects, almost it was the staff recommendation that almost made this a community effort. Like, you know, people, we're not a village, but it takes a village. And we were amazed at how many people came out and how passionate people were. There were something like 120 letters of support sent in to City Hall, and I think there were 4 against. And at the hearing that night, 21 people got up, person after person, and spoke so passionately about what this was going to mean either for their industry or for the downtown. And the reason I think that happened, and yes, I think it had a lot to do with what council did that night, but I think people look at that piece of property, and because it's so visible and it's the last undeveloped piece of our waterfront, I think people look at it and it's theirs too. And so they took a very serious vested interest in what happens on that land. I think a lot of people looked at it and said, you know, what else could it be? If it's an office, it will never bring the same kind of public benefit to our community. And if it's a residential tower with even commercial at grade, it's never going to do for this city what a hotel could do.
Right, and you were saying earlier that the coup de grace of your spiel on the hotel was to play a fly-through video. It
was my big finish.
And it wouldn't play it in the council chambers.
It did not play. Murphy's Law.
But we can play it. And I had a look. It is a pretty neat look at how the hotel and condo ties into the waterfront.
Yeah.
So what does it show? A lot of it's down at ground level. What are we looking at?
Well, it is. It was created by WSP. They're our landscape architects. So when we showed it to our architects, GCA, the building architects, they kind of looked at it and went, ooh, I don't know. Do we really want to show that? It doesn't show the building off very well. It's just extremely simplistic about the building. But I said, no, you guys, this is important, because what people care about, they care about this interface with the park and with Queensway. And so it doesn't matter that the building's all simplistic. So yes, what you really get to see in that fly-through is you get to see what it will be like on our waterfront when it's finally got its polish and it's done.
Right, and really, that is the primary issue that council had to consider, is how is this going to interact with our use of the waterfront and the public access to that area. Yeah. Less than the actual hotel itself. Although once it swoops up and we see some of the nice parts of your building, it looks pretty nice from that restaurant floor.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And that's part of the reason why Bob chose to actually have the fly-through come up the tower so that you can see
Bob,
Evans,
yes,
sorry,
okay.
Our landscape architect. Because you get to come up and you see all these beautiful terraces with all these people on them and the pool area and stuff for the hotel. Then you see a wedding going on the conference level. And then you go up even further and you go into the restaurant, albeit very simplistic. And when you turn back around, he had it go to night, and then you can see the actual view from the 17th floor restaurant. And that will be quite great.
Right, it will be kind of a signature piece for that area of town.
Well, it will. I mean, one of the things I said in my presentation that I actually think that that just the same way that people bringing friends or having friends come visit them in Kelowna, it's kind of a must-do to go walk out on that marina, on the pier that we built, out to the seating pavilion. Everyone seems to go. I think that this too will become a venue that becomes a must-do. You've got to go see the valley, the lake, from that vantage point.
Right. So a few things. The argument that it's a little out of place will probably be a pretty good argument, at least for a while, until there's some other tall buildings nearby. Yes. And who knows how long that's going to take. There are.
Well, interestingly, Ella is approved, so that'll be being built before we are. The bargain towers probably will be under construction, I would think, at the same time that we are. And interestingly, staff showed a report that night, or a drawing, that showed some 7 towers in this downtown area that are either under discussion at City Hall or already in the planning stages that they know about. So no, I don't think it'll be alone for very long.
Right. So the standing out like a sore thumb argument starts to get minimized over a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But it will be 3 years. If this project is a gain, there's going to be 3 years of pain with a big shroud around the construction project. Is that? I mean, that's not going to be optimal.
It won't be optimal, but the lovely thing is people have been building in cities in tight spaces for a very long time. You go to Vancouver and you see a bunch of hoarding around, say, when the Georgia was being done. And all you knew really was that there was hoarding around that site for a particular period of time. And then all of a sudden, poof, it's done.
It is. Right.
But yeah, there's method to that madness, and it's done very carefully. And it will be done with lots of, in conjunction with City Hall, for sure.
And ultimately, that area, right now, we've been watching it sort of act as kind of an ugly little bit of a parking lot. So I think that people are probably pretty pleased to see anything happening, regardless. And so when will it start? When are we actually going to see construction begin?
We are working on the presentation center right now. I'm not sure. Actually, we thought we might put it on the site. After discussion with our team yesterday, we're not really sure, because we might want it to live longer, to be a condo that's built that you could go into and out of for 3 years, so that people can see the finishing. We will be building a mock hotel suite as well, so that all of our contractors over time will be able to see exactly the level to which we expect that to be built. But the next step is that presentation center. It's the sale of those residences this summer. And then we're in the ground by the end of the year if all of that goes according to plan.
Well, we'll wait to see that happening. Gail Temple, thanks very much for coming in and talking to us today.
Thank you.
It's Gail Temple from Westcorp. You're watching Kelowna Now.